grab your cup. Less than 2 weeks ago, I had my second total hip replacement, and the recovery is going really well. In fact, I've been able to walk without any aid, without a walker or a cane, for over a week now. So pretty quickly, I was able to walk, and I still have rehabbing to do and still a ways to go, but it's been going very well. And a friend of mine commented yesterday or the day before, she said, "Wow, you're doing great. Your body really loves you," which was a wonderful thing to say. But as I reflected on it, what I realized is first of all, that's not always been the case in my life. So who I am is a transformational health and whole life coach. And I've gone that route in my passion for health and wellness because I've always been in health and wellness in one way, shape, or form. My master's is in exercise physiology, and I've worked with people, and more specifically women most of the time, in health and wellness for 40 years. My name is Linda Downey, and that's who I am and what I do. But the reason that it's gone that way as a transformational health coach is because of the health challenges that I've had my whole life. So when my friend said, "Your body really loves you," what I realized was it's actually that I finally love my body and who I am. Because what was the truth before, and my body showed it. I've had autoimmune diagnoses, multiple autoimmune diagnoses. I've had migraine headaches. I've had gut issues. Ulcerative colitis was my first autoimmune. And so over the course of my adult life, it hasn't been the case that I had the experience, "Oh, my body loves me." And that's because I didn't love my body, I didn't love myself, and I didn't love my life. So what my body was a reflection of, and now I'm sharing this with you, to give you some insight into why I do what I do, but really more importantly, for you to look at you and yourself in your life. If chronic health issues, something that you can't just take care of and then you get better to the degree that you want to get better, but chronic things, maybe you have chronic pain, maybe you have gut issues or autoimmune. If that has been your case, your experience, then I invite you to look at this conversation from how does it match up with my life, okay? So in the course of my life, with all of those health conditions, I was a wellness professional who was really sick a lot and who struggled with health. And I had years and years of holding in shame. I was raised, and there was a lot of emphasis on shame in order to motivate you to do better. Maybe you've had that experience, right? But being shamed for what you did or who you are or a choice that you made. So I held a lot of shame in my body, and shame shows up for me in my lower belly, like a burning pit in my lower belly, and it shows up here. I can feel like heat and constriction. So a pit in my belly, heat and constriction in my chest and in my throat. When I'm feeling shame, that's where my body tells me it's showing up. And so holding shame for years and years and years affected digestive issues, my digestive system, and affected my thyroid. I also held blame, anger, and resentment. So part of what goes along with autoimmune conditions is an immune system that doesn't recognize what tissues it's supposed to attack and what tissues it's supposed to protect, because there's a lack of recognition of self and who we are. And that was true for me because when you're holding things like that, when you're carrying around and walking around with very heavy, depleting emotions, there's nothing wrong with those emotions, but they deplete you. They deplete your vitality in life. They deplete what's possible for you. And when we do that, we're disconnected from our true self. Our true self wants to be love and connection and peace. That's who we truly are. But those depleting emotions will block that. And when we have a negative conversation in our head about ourselves, what's wrong with my body? Here we go again. If anybody's going to get sick, it's going to be me. Ugh, look at me in these clothes. I feel so fat. I look so fat. Everybody else looks better, has better, does better, whatever your conversation is. When you hold that in your body, that's when the autoimmune shows up, and it really starts brewing for years before you have symptoms. And anger, part of autoimmune, that's what I started to say before, part of autoimmune is not having the ability to clear out toxic things. Anger, in Chinese medicine, you could look this up, but thousands and thousands of years have recognized a correlation between that and the liver specifically. So the liver, the job of the liver is to get rid of toxic stuff. If you don't get rid of toxic emotions, that affects the physiology of your liver. It affects physically what you're able to get rid of. And then there's a buildup of toxins in your body, the chemicals that we're exposed to, the processing in our foods, hormones. There's synthetic hormones from the foods that we eat. So if your liver can't get rid of that, your immune system is going to be greatly challenged, and your digestive system is going to be greatly challenged. And if you're holding anger, it doesn't matter how many liver detoxes you do, because the anger is going to affect the liver. So I held anger, I held shame, I held blame. I lived in a victim mentality in so much as it was like everybody else has it better. I didn't have this. My childhood was like that. I grew up in an alcoholic household. So whatever your experience is with anybody that has alcoholism, you could maybe take a guess at what it's like growing up in an alcoholic household, and the lack of availability of support from the people that you're yearning to be supported from has you decide there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my life. And that was true for me for many, many, many years. As I took on really changing my health and not just living from one protocol to another, let me find the next supplement, let me just deal with, I don't feel well. When I really was willing to take it on and peel away those things, then yes, my body did respond. My body did love me back. Yours will too. Your body, your physical body, is a reflection of the thoughts and emotions that you spend the most time in. And if those thoughts and those emotions are depleting, are not connected to your authentic self, and affect the function of your body, then things will start to accumulate. So I just wanted to share that with you as I reflected on what my friend said and how different it is now to be living in this body as a 60-year-old woman. At 60 years old, I see better, faster results and responses in my body when I implement things than I did through my 20s and 30s and 40s, until I learned what I really needed to be addressing. So if chronic health issues are part of your life and you're like, I would love to have my body respond, I would love to have the experience that my body loves me back, I invite you to look at how much have you loved your body, what have you held in it, where have you disconnected from yourself. And if you want to have a conversation about that, we would be really happy to just have a free conversation about what that takes. It's not a small thing, but it's absolutely possible. So connect in the comments. You can put talk or chat, whatever you want to do, and I'll make sure that we connect and talk about what your challenges are, and if the kind of work that I do as a transformational health coach could make a difference for you. Have a good day.